The Galactic Council Hall was never silent, but today the silence felt heavy, like something dangerous was watching from the shadows. The great room was filled with alien leaders from hundreds of worlds, each sitting in their glowing seats, their eyes fixed on the center of the hall. No one dared to speak first, everyone waited for someone else to explain what humanity had done. A tall, thin alien with blue skin finally stood up, his voice shook as he spoke. "We must discuss the humans," he said. The word humans echoed through the room like a warning. Several leaders looked away, others tapped their fingers nervously. They all remembered what happened 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, a small human colony was attacked by a group of alien warlords. The warlords believed that humans were weak, that they would beg for mercy or ask for help, but humans did none of that. Instead, they vanished. Every human ship, every signal, every message simply cut off. It was as if humanity holding its breath, preparing for something no one understood. Now, the council feared the answer. At the center of the hall, a screen flickered to life. It showed the destroyed human colony, burning silently in space. A low whisper moved across the alien leaders. They had all seen the images before, but every time they saw the ruins they felt more afraid. The humans had not sent any reply, not even a warning. Their silence was more terrifying than any weapon. An elderly alien minister leaned forward. "Why are the humans not answering us?" he asked. "We sent messages of peace, we sent offers of help, we even sent apologies. No one replied." A large reptilian commander clicked his claws on the table. "Humans are planning something," he said in a cold voice. "They do not hide for no reason." Another alien spoke, her voice trembling. "Our scouts say human space is closed, all borders are sealed, ships that try to enter disappear." "Disappear?" someone repeated. "How? Where do they go?" "Nowhere," she whispered, "they vanish from our scanners like dust." Fear crawled through the room. No one liked mysteries, especially mysteries involving humans. Humans were different from other species. They learned fast, adapted fast, and fought with a kind of fire no alien ever understood. Many in the room still remembered the old human wars, where humans defended themselves even when they had no chance to win. Some admired them, others feared them. But now everyone wondered what kind of power humanity was building in silence. Suddenly, the lights in the hall flickered. A wave of fear shot through the leaders. Several aliens jumped from their seats. A deep hum vibrated through the walls, as if something massive was passing through the space around the planet. "What is that?" someone shouted. "Is it the humans? Is it their fleet?" No answer came. The hall grew colder. The shadows on the floor stretched long. One alien checked a small scanner in his hand. His eyes widened. "Something entered this star system," he whispered. "Something large." "How large?" demanded another alien. He swallowed hard. "Large enough to cover a moon." The council broke into panic. Voices overlapped. Some shouted for shields, others for evacuation. A few wanted to surrender immediately. The fear was real now. No one had ever seen humans move an object that big. No one even believed humans could build something so powerful. But now it was here, silent and unseen, just like humanity itself these past 3 weeks. A deep alarm echoed through the hall, vibrating the floor. The walls flashed red. A voice came through the speakers. "Unidentified object approaching." No response to communication, no sign of weapon systems, but size, unknown. The reptilian commander hissed, "It's them, it has to be them. Humans do not answer, they act." An alien diplomat raised his hands. "We must not provoke them. If we fire, they will fire." "Do you really think we can stop them?" another alien snapped. "We do not even know where they are." The panic grew thicker. The council president, a calm, silver-skinned alien, finally rose from his seat. His voice cut through the noise. "Enough," he said, "sit down." Slowly, the panic faded to nervous whispers. The president's eyes were cold. "We must face truth," he said. "The humans are coming. They are not talking, they are not explaining, they are responding." The screen in the center of the hall switched again. This time it showed the object moving toward the council world, a black silhouette shaped like a giant spear, long and silent. Its surface absorbed light instead of reflecting it. It looked unnatural, like a shadow pulled into shape. The hall went silent again, every leader staring at the massive structure drifting toward them. "What do they want?" someone whispered. The president answered quietly, revenge. The word hung in the air like a blade, every alien felt it press against their throat. The humans had not forgotten their destroyed colony, they had not forgiven, and now the galaxy would learn what humanity's silence truly meant. The hall trembled again as the shadow moved closer, aliens held their breath, waiting, fearing, wondering what humanity was about to unleash. The last words spoken in the hall before the lights went dark were soft, trembling, and full of dread. They are here. The alarms continued to echo through the Galactic Council world as the giant shadow drifted closer. The alien leaders stared at the dark shape in space, unable to understand what they were seeing. It was not a ship, not a station, not anything that existed in their records. It was something new, something only humans could build after weeks of total silence. Across the planet, every scanner tried to lock onto the object, but readings slipped away like water through fingers. Numbers changed every second, shapes shifted, and energy levels refused to stay stable. Scientists reported that the structure seemed both solid and not solid at the same time, as if the laws of physics were afraid to touch it. The council president watched the chaos around him, his hands clasped tightly together. Send another message, he ordered, ask the humans why they have come. A diplomat nodded and transmitted the signal, a simple greeting, a request for peace, a plea for dialogue. All they received in return was silence, the same crushing, endless silence humanity had given them for 3 long weeks. One alien shouted, "They ignore us again, why?" Another answered, "Because they do not need to speak." Outside, smaller council ships surrounded the dark human structure, trying to form a defense line, but the ships looked tiny next to the gigantic object, like insects circling a mountain. Some pilots confessed they felt watched, even though no windows or lights were visible on the human construct. A nervous officer reported, "The object is not slowing down, it will arrive in orbit soon." The reptilian commander shook his head. "This is not their fleet," he said slowly, "this is only the beginning." As the object entered orbit, the stars behind it disappeared, swallowed by its curved shadow. The entire night side of the planet darkened. The council leaders stared upward as the sky turned black, not because of clouds, but because the object blocked half the horizon. Fear grew like a storm, heavy and unstoppable. Then, without warning, hundreds of small lights flickered on, not from the object, but from the space behind it. A second shape appeared, then a third, then a fourth. Dozens of human ships emerged from the void like ghosts, silent and precise. These were not the human ships aliens remembered. They were smoother, sharper, almost alive, no engines visible, no heat signatures. Their surfaces showed patterns that looked like shifting shadows. One alien gasped, "How did they build this so fast?" Another whispered, "What did they learn in those 3 weeks?" A third shivered, "What have humans become?" For the first time, the council understood something important. Humans had not been hiding out of fear, they had been working, building, preparing. "Sir," a technician said quietly, "we are receiving a signal." Everyone froze. The signal was not a message, not a voice, not even words. It was a heartbeat, a slow, deep, steady human heartbeat echoing across the communication lines. It sounded ancient, powerful, like the pulse of something enormous waking from sleep. "Why a heartbeat?" someone asked, afraid to breathe. The president replied slowly, "It is a warning." The giant human structure released a single wave of energy. It did not explode, it did not burn. Instead, it pushed the alien ships back gently, like a hand moving aside toys on a table. No damage, no destruction, only a clear message. Do not get in the way. Across the galaxy, sensors lit up as more human fleets appeared near alien military bases. Every base that took part in the attack on the human colony found itself surrounded by silent human drones. The drones hovered over the bases like dark stars, no weapons visible, no movement at all. Yet their presence was enough to freeze every soldier. Back in the council hall, the darkness outside grew thicker. The human fleet did not move aggressively, but its sheer size created pressure, like a storm waiting to fall. The president whispered, "If they wanted war, they would have started already." A diplomat asked, "Then what are they here for?" Another alien answered, "Judgment." Suddenly, every screen in the council hall flickered, static crackled, lights dimmed, a human symbol appeared on the monitors, a simple white circle with a burning red line through the center, the symbol of retaliation, the old human warning sign. Then a voice spoke. It was calm, deep, and controlled, a human voice, but altered, filtered, maybe synthetic. It echoed through every corner of the hall. Galactic Council, it said, you attacked our people. The hall fell silent. The voice continued, slow and cold. We asked for peace, you answered with weapons. We asked for respect, you answered with fire. The screens changed, showing images of the destroyed human colony, the burning homes, the dead families, the broken ships. Now, the voice said, we respond. The word sent chills through every alien leader, no threats, no shouting, just certainty. The voice continued, stand down, stay silent, and watch. The screens shut off, leaving the hall in darkness again. The leaders looked at each other, unsure if they should run, fight, or simply wait for whatever humanity planned next. Far above them, the human fleet rearranged itself into a perfect circle, surrounding the planet. Each ship faced inward, silent, unmoving, unavoidable. The council realized something terrifying. Humanity had not broken the silence. They had turned silence into a weapon. And now, the galaxy would feel its full power. The human fleet circled the council world like a dark ring, silent and perfect. Every alien on the planet felt the same cold fear crawling up their spine. The ships did not move, they did not flash lights, they did not open communication, they simply waited, like hunters who had already chosen their target. Inside the council hall, the alien leaders watched the skies through the massive transparent dome. The darkness outside looked alive, as if the human ships were breathing slowly, watching everything below. A young alien officer ran into the hall, his voice shaking, our scouts, they are gone. Gone? The president repeated, gone how? They followed the human fleet, but then their signals vanished. The officer whispered, no explosion, no debris, no distress call, nothing. Silence hit the hall harder than any explosion. It wasn't death that scared them, it was the way humans erased their enemies without even leaving a trace, like shadows wiping shadows. The reptilian commander growled, humans must have a new weapon. Then why haven't they used it on us yet? Someone asked nervously. Because, the commander said, they want us to watch first. Across the galaxy, the first signs of humanity's power began to appear. At an alien military base 3 systems away, soldiers looked up to see small black shapes descending from the clouds. They had no engines, no sound, no heat readings. They seemed to float through the air like falling feathers. Identify yourselves, the alien commander shouted into the radio. No answer. The shape stopped above the base, human drones, pale and smooth, each one glowing faintly red underneath. Soldiers aimed their weapons, but before anyone could fire, every gun in the base shut down at the same moment. Power cut, engines died, shields collapsed. It was as if the drones reached into the machines and turned off their hearts. The drones did not fire back, they simply hovered, waiting, watching, judging. The entire base froze in fear, no one dared to move. Back at the council world, more reports came in. Another base disabled. And another. They're not killing anyone, they're only destroying weapons. The council president whispered, they know exactly who attacked their colony. The truth was terrifying. Humans were not striking blindly, they were performing a clean, precise operation, removing only those forces involved in the attack. It was not anger, it was justice. And justice delivered by humans was something the galaxy had never wanted to see. A new alarm rang through the hall, longer, deeper, more urgent. The president snapped, what now? A technician stared at his screen, pale and shaking, the human fleet is moving. Everyone ran to the edge of the dome, staring upward. Human ships glided into a new formation, their movement smooth like a single creature. One ship separated from the circle, drifting down toward the planet like a falling star. This is it, someone whispered, they're going to attack. But the ship did not fire a weapon. Instead, it released a pulse of invisible energy. It spread across the planet like a silent wave. The aliens felt a tingling sensation, like static brushing their skin. Every weapon, every shield generator, every battle system on the Council world powered down instantly. Lights dimmed, machines froze, even personal defense devices shut off. Not broken, not damaged, just obediently silenced. "What have they done?" a minister gasped. "They disarmed us," the commander said, staring at his useless weapon, completely. In orbit, the human ship pulsed again, and dozens of drones shot out from its sides. Each drone moved with extreme speed, circling the planet in perfect lines. They scanned every military building, every warship, every research lab, locking onto anything that could harm humans. But still, they did not attack. "Why aren't they firing?" a diplomat asked. The president swallowed, "Because destruction is not their goal." One alien whispered, "Then what is?" Before anyone could answer, the screens in the hall blinked on. A new image appeared. This time it was a human fleet approaching one specific alien empire, the empire responsible for the first strike on the human colony. Their ships were old, loud, and bright compared to the silent human vessels. The difference was terrifying. The human ships shot forward with impossible speed, bending around enemy fire as if they already knew the attack's locations before they were fired. The enemy ships tried to run, but the humans cut through their defenses like they were dust. No explosions echoed, no fireballs appeared. Instead, the alien ship simply shut down and drifted helplessly through space. Within minutes, the entire enemy fleet was disabled, not destroyed, every soldier alive, every weapon useless, every warship silent. A technician whispered, This is impossible." "Not for humans," the president said quietly, "not anymore." The human ships then turned and vanished, dissolving into the dark like ghosts, leaving no trace, only silence. The council hall trembled again. The main human vessel above the planet opened a single glowing door. A beam of white light shot down like a giant spotlight hitting the center of the hall, not damaging, but waiting. Someone whispered the words everyone felt deep inside. "This isn't an attack. This is a warning. The real strike hasn't even begun." And as the hall filled with the cold white light, every alien realized the truth. Humanity was no longer asking for justice. Humanity was delivering it. The white beam from the human ship stayed fixed on the council hall like an eye looking directly into their souls. No heat, no sound, no force, just quiet pressure that made every alien feel small. The leaders stood frozen, afraid to step forward, afraid to move away, afraid to even breathe too loudly. Inside the hall, the lights flickered again, screens powered on by themselves. Even though every system had been shut down seconds earlier, lines of static crawled across the monitors, shaping strange symbols that no alien language could translate. The more they looked at the symbols, the more they felt watched, as if something alive was on the other side of the screen. A minister whispered, "Is this communication?" The president replied, "No, this is preparation." Then, all screens went black at once. A single white dot appeared at the center, pulsing slowly like a heartbeat, the same heartbeat the alien fleets had heard earlier. The white dot expanded, filling the screens with bright light, and then, without warning, a human figure appeared. Tall, calm, motionless, a figure made of light, but unmistakably human. The face was hidden under a dark helmet, the body covered in armor that shifted like smoke. The figure stood still, hands behind its back. Its quiet presence sent a wave of fear through the entire hall. No one spoke, even the air felt trapped inside the room. Finally, the figure raised its head, and a deep voice echoed through the hall, not loud, but so cold and steady that it made even the bravest leaders shiver. "Galactic Council," the voice said, "you wished for our attention." Every alien froze, no one dared to answer. The human continued, 3 weeks ago, you allowed an attack on our people." Images flashed around the room, burning homes, broken ships, human bodies floating in the void. The aliens looked away, ashamed, terrified, or both. "You believed we would cry," the voice said, "you believed we would beg." A sharp silence hit the hall. "You were wrong." The screens changed again, now showing dozens of alien military leaders, those who had ordered, supported, or benefited from the attack on the human colony. Their faces were highlighted in red circles. The reptilian commander whispered, this cannot be real. But it was. The humans knew everything. The figure's voice grew colder. We asked for peace, you responded with violence. The figure lifted one hand, glowing faintly, so we learned to respond to violence in our own way. The council president stepped forward, voice trembling, we seek forgiveness, we made mistakes, terrible mistakes, but we can. Silence, the voice cut in. It wasn't shouted, but the power behind it shut the president down instantly. Every leader felt the force of that single word. The human figure continued, you do not get to speak of forgiveness while your weapons still aim at the innocent. But our weapons are offline, an alien minister said softly. For now, the human replied, because we turned them off. The truth hit the room like a blade. Humanity had disarmed the most powerful councils in the galaxy without firing a single shot. Without asking permission. Without leaving a choice. The figure stepped closer, its image growing sharper, the hall grew colder. There will be no war today, the human said. Relief washed through the room. But it didn't last. But there will be judgment. Fear returned even stronger. The screens showed human fleets at different planets, hovering above military bases, all drones pointed down but still silent. The human voice spoke again, those who ordered the attack, will answer for it. No, shouted an alien general, you cannot decide that. We already did, the human replied softly. At that moment, across multiple planets, human drones descended, not to kill, not to destroy, but to capture. Alien leaders responsible for the human colony attack were surrounded by beams of white light, lifted into the air, and vanished into human ships, no resistance, no violence, just absolute control. The council hall watched, helpless. Return them, another minister cried, they are our leaders. They were your leaders, the human said, you failed to stop them, so we did. The figure raised one hand, and the entire hall felt a pressure around their hearts, not pain, but warning. The message was clear, do not test them. The human voice softened slightly, but still sounded like cold steel. We do not seek to rule your worlds. We do not seek to conquer your people. We do not seek endless war. The hall felt a breath of hope. But the next words froze it again. We seek balance, the human said, and balance will be kept with or without your cooperation. The figure stepped back, the light around it flickering. Humanity does not rise in anger, it said. Humanity rises in memory. And we remember everything you have done. The screens began to fade. But remember this, the voice whispered, we are not the threat. We are the answer. The human image disappeared in a burst of white light. The beam shining into the hall vanished. The silence that followed was worse than any threat. Every alien stared at the empty screens. Knowing deep inside that something far greater was coming next. Something final. Something unstoppable. Humanity had spoken. And the galaxy could do nothing but listen. The human image vanished, leaving the council hall in a cold, unnatural silence. No one moved, no one whispered, no one even blinked for several long seconds. It was as if the room itself was holding its breath, afraid to disturb the space where the human voice had spoken. Outside the hall, the sky was still dark, human ships forming a silent circle above the planet, their shadows covered entire cities, leaving only thin lines of light where the sun tried to break through. People across the world stared upward in fear, wondering when the humans would strike, wondering if this was their final day. Inside the hall, the council president lowered himself slowly into his seat, his hands shook as he tried to speak. We must respond, he said softly, but his voice broke halfway, we must make them understand we want peace. A minister whispered, peace? They already know. Another added, they do not want our words. A third said quietly, they want our fear. The reptilian commander shook his head, no, not fear, they want our honesty. Before anyone could argue, the screens lit up again. This time, there were no humans on the display. Instead, the screens showed live footage from across the galaxy, human drones moving through alien cities, capturing corrupt leaders, shutting down illegal weapon factories, disabling secret war labs the council pretended not to know about. Every hidden crime was exposed. Every secret deal was shown. Every lie the council told was pulled into the light. The president covered his face with his hands. "They know everything," he whispered, "everything we tried to hide." And the truth was clear: humans had not come to conquer. Humans had come to reveal. To expose. To punish. As the footage played, the hall grew heavier. Leaders stared at the screens with hollow eyes. Some cried quietly. Some trembled. Some simply sat frozen in disbelief. One alien finally broke the silence: "If they wanted revenge, they would have destroyed us." Another said, "If they wanted control, they would have taken our worlds." A third whispered, "So why are they doing this?" The answer came not from a human voice but from the actions on the screen. Humans were not killing. They were removing the ones who caused the war. The ones who lied. The ones who hid behind their governments. Humans were choosing justice over destruction. A kind of justice the galaxy had never seen before. Suddenly, the council hall lights flickered again. But this time, it wasn't ominous. It was soft, faint, almost gentle. A new message appeared on the screen. One single line of text, glowing white. "Balance has been restored." Whispers spread across the hall. What does that mean? Are they leaving? Is it over? Before they could speak further, a low hum vibrated through the air. The human ships above the planet rotated slowly, their silent black hulls glowing faintly. The circle formation began to open. Not like a weapon. But like a door. One by one, the human drones returned to their vessels. The captured corrupt leaders were moved into containment. And then, something happened that no alien expected. The human fleet turned away. Leaving their backs facing the council world. A position no war fleet ever used. A universal sign of trust and finality. A young alien officer stared at the scanners in disbelief. "They're disengaging." Another repeated, "They're leaving the system." The president whispered, "After everything, they're just leaving. No destruction. No demands. No final warning. Just departure." The ships moved together like a silent storm sliding into the horizon. Their dark silhouettes faded into the starfield. Until they looked like shadows swallowed by the night. Everyone in the hall felt the same strange emotion, relief mixed with fear. Humans had shown a power the galaxy had never imagined. But they used it with a level of control no empire could ever match. As the final human ship disappeared into the darkness, the council hall lights slowly brightened. The silence remained, but it was different now. Not heavy, not fearful. Just stunned. The president stood, his voice weak but clear. "Let this day be remembered," he said, "not as the day humanity attacked us, but the day humanity taught us what true strength is." The reptilian commander nodded. "Strength is not destruction," he said, "strength is choice." And humans, another leader whispered, chose something we never would have. They chose justice. They chose clarity. They chose restraint. A final message blinked onto the central screen, left by the departing human fleet. Simple, quiet, powerful. "We do not seek to rule the stars. But we will defend our place among them." And with that, the screen faded. The hall fell completely silent for the last time. Not from fear. But from understanding. The galaxy would never forget what happened. And from that day forward, no council member spoke lightly of humanity again. Because they now knew the truth. Humans were not the weakest. Not the newest. Not the smallest. They were the force that even the stars had learned to respect. And the galaxy would think twice before challenging them ever again.